Welcome to the wonderful world of wellness with Dr. Andy Mencia. This medical program heard from 7 to 7:30 each Saturday right here on WSBR 740 AM is brought to you by the Adult and Geriatric Center under the medical direction of Geriatrician Dr. Andy Mencia. Well, we are very fortunate, right, to have you here for an hour this morning.
The whole enchilada.
The whole enchilada, right. Well, something that I was feeling as I was writing this article is we never really talk enough about the advantages of a geriatric physician.
Oh, gosh.
And we casually mention it. We always talk the geriatric. But I thought maybe you ought to go into a little bit more about this. I suppose the difference is, and we've talked about this before, we have a lot of doctors here, very good doctors, and because they see so many older people, they feel that they're a geriatric physician, and that's not true.
That's not true. And they even advertise.
Really?
I seen some business card. They will say family practice geriatric medicine or internal medicine geriatric medicine. So when they handle the card to me, I say, well, where do you train? They, I've been practicing in Florida for about 10 years or 8 years or
on the job training,
years.
Right?
On the job training. And it's not the same. It's like if let's say you like to treat the heart and you see a lot of patients with heart diseases, what have you, it doesn't make you a cardiologist. You have to undergo the training to become a cardiologist. So geriatric medicine is a specialty that you get trained for. So after I became an internist, then I was a chief resident. I was in charge of the trainee that were behind me for 1 whole year. Then I had the choice of doing 1 year geriatric medicine or 2-year fellowship. And I decided, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. I'm going to do it all the way. And I did a 2-year training, basically train and reading and teaching and doing research and learning in a full-time training program for 2 years. And that's what made me a geriatrician.
Okay, well, I want to stop you here because I have to ask you something. At that point, someone else may have wanted to be a pediatrician.
Right.
But you want to be a geriatrician. Was that because you loved older people? What really drew you to that?
What drew me was my grandfather. Yeah, my grandfather lived to 109, and he was the type of person, up in the mountains of Hawaii, and we used to have coffee fields. And he would get up every morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, and, you say, Grandpa, how come you living to be so old? And he said, I always wake up in the morning having something to do. There is always something to be done. And he lived to 109, and he was the type of person that would not take medication. He would be very natural, grew up 109, so he spent all this time in his life basically with Mother Nature.
Was he married?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
No, but how long was your grandmother?
My grandmother lived to 98.
So he lived alone for those next 10 years.
Yes.
Interesting. And so,
but we belong to the extended family concept. So he was never alone. He was with the kids and the grandkids and what have you. So he was never alone. And, in our little area in Hawaii, we didn't know about nursing homes and assisted living facility. We didn't know what that meant. We just know that you just had to have that extra room for the family and so on. So, we live in the extended family. Nowadays, you reach 18 and say, okay, you got to go.
That's true. But so because you lived in that world with your grandfather, in fact, your grandmother, look how long she lived, this made you then want to make people have a better kind of life who are older.
Yeah, because I remember when I was going through medical school, and I told grandpa, hey, I got accepted to medical school. I'm going to be doing medical school. And he said, what does that mean? I said, I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to treat people and make them well and what have you. And he said, well, I don't know what that means, but if you're going to be working with people, what you have to do is keep them happy, make them happy. And that was his advice to me, the advice of an educated old man. And that kept motivating me to follow the field, how does other older person, how do they live, and what philosophy do they have? And I tell you, I learned so much from my patients. They teach me so much in all aspects of life. I get all kinds of patients from all walks of life that come by the center. I remember having a patient that he was a pilot for the Air Force. And he was shut down 4 times. And he was still...
Really?
He was still going.
Well, and I hear you talk about your patients. Let's move back, though, before. I want to still go back to being a geriatrician. I want to find out that... So you had very good feelings about an older body, an older person. Yet, when you ask some doctors why they never did that is because they say... I want usually older people, then they die. Where the other person wants to have someone who's young and lives. Mm-hmm. And I thought that's a terrible thing, but I've heard that. Have you ever heard that? That's the reason they didn't want to go into geriatric medicine.
And, geriatric patients, sometimes they require time. They need the time. They need, and my patient will tell me sometimes, doctor, just sit down. I need to talk to you. And I sit down. I just sit down and listen to them.
That's their medicine.
Yeah. And, a lot of times geriatric patients get overlooked, mistreated. And I work really hard. And Ina is here with us today.
Hi, she's looking so beautiful today. Yes.
Thank you.
Hello.
Say spasiba.
Spasiba.
Пожалуйста. So, I work so hard with the staff and I work, with Ina and to make sure that my patient get treated with dignity. The one thing that I want to reign in my practice is that the patient feel that they are being treated with dignity, plenty of dignity.
Dignity is extremely important, isn't it? Tell us about that.
Well, as we age, we become so fragile. And we become so vulnerable as we age. So, but we don't lose our pride of who we had been. And, if you sit down with the patient and say, well, tell me about your life. When you ask that question, you better have time sometimes to sit down and listen. And I have one of my patients, he was a hairdresser. And he's 101, and he tell me all the people he used to take care of in New York. He was a very high-end hairdresser. He married this Peruvian lady. And I remember one time he comes in, and I don't know if you remember, we gave him a donut with a candle. Yeah.
A donut with a candle because it was his birthday.
Yes. So we went to the waiting room. Oh, he was so happy. He said, doctor, you are just amazing. What an amazing man you are.
True.
And, that meant the world to him. It's that dignity, that respect. Somebody else, you're 101. What are you going to celebrate? You passed your celebration. That's it. We all appreciate those things, And one of my patients on the other side, he was the founding father of Motorola in Israel. And then he got bought, his company got bought by the company in the United States. And they merged. And he was such a proud man, I'm the founding father of Motorola in Israel. And he died at 92. But he played tennis to the last day because that was the love of his life. He just wanted to live in the United States because he wanted to have a nice house with a tennis court. But then he got old, and his wife, they went into a retirement community here in West Palm Beach, and there was a tennis court. So they were happy with that. As long as there was a tennis court, he was happy with that. So each of my patients, they have a story, thing that they have done. People that have come to this country with 25 cents in their pocket, and they became millionaires through hard work and sweat. And, you know, they need that dignity as they age. You know, they might be vulnerable, they might be fragile because of their age. But remember one thing that I told you a long time ago, the eye will never show any wrinkle.
Yes, you always say that.
Yeah.
The eye, I have to put that in as one of my quotes.
The eye will never, the body will wrinkle. So many things will wrinkle in our, you know, the earlobe will wrinkle. Everything in our
eye does not wrinkle.
The eye will never wrinkle. You know, you look into those eyes of those patients and you see, you know, the pride and the joy of what they have done in life. And, you know, I have some lady that have inherited, I have one lady, she inherited a printing company, a book printing company. And that was her husband's dream, to build this thing. And that was the business. And he came without a penny to this country, build a printing company. Then she took over. And some of the kids went back to Europe and stayed there, got married, and she stayed here with the printing company and kept it going.
Well, you as a physician, I'm not going to get morbid, but you're such a caring, loving man. How do you feel when you've become so close to these patients and then they get very sick first
and
then
sick,
they die?
And then they die?
How is it for you?
It feels like a family member, you know, regardless of time. You know, I feel like a family member. And we go through ups and downs, just like family. We get mad at each other, then we make up, and we move on.
Nobody can get mad at you. Nobody.
Yeah. Well, you know, sometimes they misunderstand. I was talking to one of my patients, and he's in the waiting room, and he see that I'm not comfortable talking to him in the waiting room. And he said, you know, you got mad at me. I said, no, I didn't get mad at you. I didn't want to discuss your personal life in the waiting room. It's not appropriate. I'm always telling the staff not to do that. So I was in an uncomfortable position, and we spoke about it. He said, okay, I understand. I think I see your point. I said, you know, I want to have dignity for my patient. I need to have that, and I teach the staff to have that dignity and respect for the patient. So a lot of people think geriatric medicine is for the elderly. When any doctor don't want you anymore because you are too old, and you go to a geriatrician, and that's not true.
Oh, that's a very interesting point.
Yeah, geriatric medicine, we get even the baby boomers, people in their 40s, they start coming to the geriatrician because a lot of people in this country, we believe in preventive medicine. So a lot of people are coming early to see a geriatrician so that they can have prevention of diseases as they age. Because we want to age gracefully.
Of course.
You know?
So the prevention part of it.
Right. So we want to age gracefully. And, you know, we want to avoid having our back broken down and hump forward or hump to the side, or having a hip replacement or a knee replacement. We want to avoid all those things. And they are avoidable. They can be, you know, they can be delayed. There are many things we can do. Now we have plasma, taking the plasma from your own blood and taking the platelet and re-injecting those platelets back into the body. And at the beginning, people will look at that and say, oh, this is like voodoo medicine. This is crazy. But you think about it, you know, it's like taking your blood and concentrating or the chemical that tend to respond to injury. So you concentrate that, you re-inject it on the knee or anywhere in the body. And people use it now even for rejuvenation.
Yes.
They use fresh frozen plasma, and they re-inject it into the platelet.
You're absolutely right. That's what's happening.
On the skin, and the skin start then building collagen much faster than other chemical that we can inject there. And it responds very nicely. It really keep people, with a youthful look that they want to have.
And so when someone comes in and they're talking with you, they don't expect to get that from you. They don't get that from doctors. So how do you get them to talk to you? I mean, a lot of them, they don't think, he's a doctor and I can't take his time and he doesn't care about what I have to say. And how do you make them relax so that they know you're different?
Well, at the beginning when
you
we
give
start,
them a hug. We start off
we
with
start
that.
with a hug.
Right.
I have a patient that came to see me, and she has lupus. She has lupus, and she has the lupus, the form that affect the skin. So her face is very deformed. And
I don't know really what lupus is.
Yeah, it's a connective tissue disease. It can affect the heart. It can affect the uterus, so the woman will not have baby. And there's a form of lupus that can affect the skin and just give you a lot of scars in the skin. And it won't spare any part of your body. So, the face, of course, is included. So her face is very deformed from lupus. And she comes to me, and she came yesterday to see me. She came yesterday. And this petite woman is sitting in the exam table, and I see her, and I say, "Oh, honey," I go and I give her a hug and give her a kiss, and I say, "I want to wish you a very happy 4th of July. We got to be thankful to God that we're still a free country, and that we all stick together as Americans. And, this 4th of July becomes special with everything going on around the world. So I want to give you a hug and a kiss." And she said, "I tell my family, one day I'm going to bring my phone so we can take a picture, because I tell my family that when I come to see you, you give me the hug and the kiss." And they don't believe. They say, "Grandma, he kisses you on the face." And she goes, "Yeah, he gave me a kiss right here and right here on both cheeks."
Wow. Well, you can see that is really a medicine you practice that everybody knows.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because probably she's self-conscious, is that when you're describing what her face looks like. And so who would want to kiss that? But you don't see that. You see, as you said, in the eyes, you see the person inside.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
exactly.
know, where did that come from, the hugging? Did something, don't tell me your grandfather did this.
No, from my mother. My mother used to get so mad at me. "Stop hugging me. Stop hugging me." Stop.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you had a natural wanting to give that affection from a little kid.
So I will go and bother her and we'll go and hug her and kiss her.
That is so sweet.
And, being your mom, even when she was angry, Daddy will not be on time for dinner, and she loved to have the whole family eating together. And he was late, and he would make us wait. And she would be by the door, and I would go and give her a hug. I said, "Leave me alone. I don't know where your father is. He's late the food. I'm going to have to reheat the food." And I noticed no matter how mad she was, I would make her, hold me by the shoulder and make her smile, make her relax. So I was a little pet sometimes, And so I learned through her watching, I study psychology, but being a kid and watching her behavior, I learned the meaning of an honest hug, and an honest hug, an honest kiss. And the people that have worked with me for years, and when Claudia started working with me, she goes like, Why you so friendly with
It's
your
because
staff?
she's foreign.
She's foreign,
She's
right?
foreign.
So,
Yeah.
you know, in her culture, she wasn't used to this. You know, she wasn't used to her having the boss like hug everybody in the morning. And I hug all my staff in the morning. We hug or we shake hands, depending on how close. But and a young guy that started working with me in the finance department, and he would walk, you know, very honest guy and very stoic and very to himself. And I would call him and say, "Come here. You didn't sleep with me, did you?" "No, I didn't." "So say good morning. Every morning I want you to start the day. We have to start the day. Let's say good morning to each other." So he will come and say good morning. And he loosen up and we shake hands. And, you know, everybody in my staff, everybody that work with me in the morning, you know, they know to look for me. Say, you know, I have to say good morning to the doctor because we start the day like that. You know, and you should start the day at home, you know, by waking up and hugging your partner every morning. Hug your partner every morning.
Okay, Bill, watch out. I mean, I love him, but you're right. I don't take the time. I'm on my computer. You're right. I don't take the good morning, honey, and give him a hug.
Give him a hug.
Okay,
give
I'm
him
gonna
a kiss.
do that.
And because you don't know when it's your last morning.
You know, you're
You
so right.
don't know when it's your last morning. So many people go to work and they get killed on the way to work, or they get a heart attack on the way to work, and they never make it back home. So I start the morning. Every morning we kiss or hug each other in the morning.
Well, the thing I was thinking though, you're a very attractive man, and you know you're very charismatic. Do people get the wrong impression when you do that? Now, I don't mean the men particularly, but I mean there are a lot of beautiful women that come moving through your place, and when you do that, or even your staff, how do you separate? You don't feel that way, I know, but how do you keep them from feeling that way? Is that a bad question?
No, it's a good question. It's a good question because I think one of the barriers that we have is that there are people out there that are professional with very malicious thoughts in their head. And, you know, you hear about dentists that will manipulate the patient when they're under sedation and will abuse and misuse their patient. So I keep, you know, they see that my hug is not coming or my kiss is not coming with a bad thought. I tell you, I had one of my patients, and she came in very sad, and the son said, "She's so sad, Dr. Mencia, but she just don't want to take any medication for depression. You know, we cannot get her to smile, but when she come and sees you, she hear your voice and she smile." So I go into the room and I greet her. "How you doing? How you doing?" And she smile. "I'm okay. I'm fine." I said, "Okay." So we went through the examination. So I go, and if my nurses are listening to the program, they see me do this, and I go, "Honey, close your eyes for me." They think I'm examining them, and they close their eyes, and I give them a kiss in their lips. And they smile from ear to ear.
Of course.
And the son say, "Oh my God, how you do it?" I try doing all of this at home. I say, make it come from your heart next time.
And we're going to say, this time we're not saying goodbye for the whole week. We're coming back now, right after this break, and just stay with us.
Yeah.
Stay with us.